my dreamers, I'm Dream Note Princess and welcome back to another video. So originally I planned on making this video where I showcase my Pokemon Shining Pearl team. However, I got myself a new computer, work and personal life got in the way, and before you know it, Legends Arceus was out and soon after, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Then I got an idea. I've seen Pokemon YouTubers do videos showcasing their Pokemon teams from one game. So that's what I planned on doing, but instead I went with a twist. Instead of doing a video for every Pokemon team from every game, I'll be doing it where I do my team in every region. As from what the title on the video says, we're going to go through the Sinnoh games and the teams I used in that region. If you like this video, I'll probably showcase my other Pokemon teams from other games as well. Anyways, let's get started. Now for starters, I should be starting with the OG Diamond and Pearl games, but I have a sad story. I had my original Pokemon Pearl as well as a couple of my other games stolen from me, and the only thing I remember was using my Empoleon. So we're going to start with Platinum. I've played Pokemon Platinum twice, but I couldn't remember my original team. I do remember that I used Chimchar on my first playthrough and my second playthrough of the game. When I first played Platinum, I wanted to use a different starter that wasn't a water type, and I started to like Chimchar thanks to the anime. I never liked using the fire type as they were hard to use during the rock type gyms, but after using Chimchar in my first run, I gained a soft spot for them. So I used Chimchar again in my second run. So now time for the rest of the team I remember using for the second run. Like most Sinnoh players, I ended up using a Luxray in my run. My next team member was Gastrodon because I needed a water type, and plus Gastrodon is a great Pokemon for Sinnoh players. For my flying type, I decided to use Togekiss, mainly because I wanted to use something different than Staraptor, and that my Togekiss had Serene Grace, which is an amazing ability. My next team member is a Leafeon from the Eevee that BB gives you in Hearthome City. I picked Leafeon since I already had Water, Electric, and Fire type on my team, and I needed a Grass type to help with Pokemon like Quagsire or Wishcash in battle. Also, I wasn't gonna wait till near the end of the game to get a Glaceon. The final team member I used was Garchomp. I never used a pseudo-legendary in any of my Pokemon playthroughs before, and it was fun using this Pokemon in my run. Okay, now it's time for me to introduce my Shining Pearl team. I should mention that some of the Pokemon I used for this team were Pokemon I wanted to use in a playthrough for the longest time. For this run, I started with Piplup like the one I used in my very first Pokemon Pearl run, and it evolved into a powerful Empoleon. The next Pokemon I used was Roserade. This was one of the Pokemon I wanted to use in a playthrough for the longest time, and Roserade was fun to use in battle. Then, I used Pachirisu, mainly because it was something I wanted to do in a Pokemon run, which was using one of the Pika clones to bring to the Elite Four. And just like the World Champions Pachirisu, mine was the best. The next Pokemon was one of the ones I wanted to use, and that was Mismagius, which was fun. The next Pokemon was one that came as a surprise, which was Vespiquen. Originally, I wanted to use Gliscor, but I found out a few days before the release of BDSP that Gliscor was a Brilliant Diamond exclusive, which meant I had to think of who'd be my sixth member. I knew the Grand Underground had lots of Pokemon that couldn't be found in the wild, as well as a few Honey Tree Pokemon, and pure luck and behold, I found a female Combi that I evolved into a Vespiquen. Finally, the last member of my team was Frostlass. This one was also on my wish list of Pokemon to use in a playthrough, and this thing helped me during the battle with Cynthia. If I got my recording stuff early, I would have recorded that entire battle with Cynthia using Frostlass because, thanks to its ability, I was able to defeat her after like 2 or 3 tries. Finally, we are going to go through my Legends Arceus team. I'm putting this in as Hisui was Sinnoh in the past, so it counts for this video. I also used 7 Pokemon for this run as I added 1 more in the post game against Volo. So for starters, pun intended, I started with Oshawott, which is one of my favorite Pokemon and my favorite starter of all time. From there, I got Sylveon, which was hard as Eevee would never appear after the first time I failed it. Once I finally caught one, I had to evolve it into my favorite Eeveelution to pair it up with my favorite starter. Then, I used Ambipom, which was another Pokemon I wished to use. basically, Shining Pearl and Legend Arceus gave me a chance to use Pokemon I never got to use at all. Next was Hisui and Arcanine, which was a big must-use on my team since I saw its pre-evolution Growlithe in the trailer. Then there was Hisui and Goodra, because I wanted to use a Goodra on a playthrough because Ash's Goodra sold me into loving it. Finally, I used Hisui and Zoroark, which I was disappointed because it was the lowest level on my team. I love Hisui and Zora and Zoroark, don't get me wrong, just that out of everyone on my team, it was 10 or so levels under. I did train it a bit, and it got to catch up with the rest of the team, but it didn't help me during the first 2 times I battled Volo. So I switched out Hisui and Zoroark for Shaman, which took down most of Volo's team, even Giratina. I love this Shaman and I will protect it with my life. And that concludes my team in Sinnoh. If you enjoyed this video, let me know if you want to see my other regional teams, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, have a wonderful time of day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!